I've been living in Thailand for over 1 year, and in 30 plus something days, me and my three melanated kings, me and my three boys, will be leaving Thailand for good. High vibrations, loves. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, a year ago, me and my three children, originally from Detroit, Michigan, we left, sold everything, and moved abroad to Southeast Asia, to Thailand. So I want to start by saying that I'm being extremely transparent in this video. I had to kind of like prepare myself not to go too deep so that I won't cry and get too deep in my emotions. I also want to make a disclaimer that this video is not to bash Thailand in any kind of way, shape, or form. I realize that when I'm transparent about my journey in Thailand, there are a lot of people that comes to the defense for Thailand, and they act like other people are not allowed to share their raw truth of their experiences living or vacationing in this country. So I want to start by saying that as an astrologer, I can't even, it goes against universal law for me to even speak against any country, because I understand on a deeper level than any regular human being that every location activates something different in different people. So different things are going to be brought out of different people, and no one person is going to have the same experience. This video is simply my honest reflection of living here for over a year as a melanated American mom of three. And if it's one thing that I definitely learned on this journey is that a country can be right for you in one season and no longer align in the next season. And that's completely okay. When I first decided that I wanted to move me and my children to the other side of the world, I knew that Thailand had exactly what I needed. And, when I first decided to choose Thailand, I did not think that I would be here forever. I knew I wouldn't, but I knew that it would be a starting point for me. I knew that it would be a building block for me. I knew that Thailand had something that I needed in the very beginning of my journey that no other country can give me. I knew that Thailand will allow me to slow down. I knew that Thailand would allow me to really sit with myself and face myself, and that I would have the space to do a lot of internal work and finish some things that I started in America. I also knew that based off my astrocartography with my Saturn and my Jupiter line being in Thailand, that not only would I heal internally, but Thailand would allow me to build and restructure myself as a businesswoman. Although I've been a businesswoman the last 11 years, there is always improvement for growth. And I knew that Thailand would put me in a different space. I knew that it would elevate me in my business, especially because of the fact that I'm no longer in the same business that I've been in for the past decade. Thailand gave me exactly what I needed when I first arrived. I was able to slow down and flow. It also allowed me to breathe and not be so uptight and worried about my next move. Thailand also allowed me to have the capacity to focus on my children more. The thing about being a mother in America, um, like I said, I don't like to refer to myself as a single mother because I'm somebody's wife. Okay. And I believe that words are spells. I try to be very careful and intentional with what I speak over myself. But what I will say is that being a mom with three children in America, it's like a lot of mothers don't get to see their kids as much, or they do not get to give their kids that one-on-one time that kids need, because most mothers are busy grinding and making money to make sure that they can feed and provide for their children. So Thailand allowed me to have the time to be home, to be hands-on, to talk to them more, to have movie time more, to hang out more, just to really, really, really cater to them 100%. It also allowed me to do one of my favorite things, which is create. I am naturally a creator. Everything that you guys see on all of my platforms, all of my brands and my businesses, I create everything myself. Okay. Um, I am a digital creator. I make my own flyers. I do all my own art. All of my ebooks have been written and curated by myself. I'm super, super creative and I love to create. To me, it's something that every woman has inside us. Just like I feel like every woman is a mother, even if she does not have children, because creating is something that we were naturally born to do. And being able to have that free time to constantly create, to me, was a blessing, because creating to me is a form of art. I don't take it for granted. And it keeps me grounded. It keeps me whole, because I love to produce something of my own that I can look at and value and say, wow, I did that off my imagination, off my willpower, off my thoughts. That shit lit. Thailand also allowed me to stop surviving and start living. I feel like as Americans, we are naturally always in survival mode. We're always trying to brainstorm, always trying to make things work, always on the go, always trying to figure it out, always trying to put the pieces together. Like, we don't slow down enough, because we're always trying to get to the next thing. And we were literally groomed to be this way. This is why our society is the way that it is. Everybody trying to chase something. They did this to us because as long as you are trying to chase outside yourself, you will never be able to go within. And that was something that I was able to do. I reflect all day, every day since I've been living in Thailand. All day, every day, y'all. I sit and I fucking reflect. I think about my life. I think about the things I want. I think about my past. I do feel like I reminisce a lot, but it's not in a bad way. It's me constantly thinking about the things that I've overcame to get me to where I am today, and constantly encouraging myself and realizing that I'm really fucking dope, because I overcame so many things that were supposed to take me out. A lot of my new supporters do not know my story. They do not know what I overcame. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like you're still in disbelief that you actually overcame until you actually overcame, right? So being out of survival mode and not feeling like I have to always produce something or do something to feel valuable, or I always got to be on the go in order to feel like I'm useful and I'm getting things done. I could just sit and lay in my bed and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. I'm relaxing and not feel guilty for it. Shout out to you, Thailand. You did that. This experience definitely firsthand taught me that living abroad is not about finding a perfect country. And I think a lot of people has that misconstrued. They're constantly on the hunt for finding a quote unquote perfect country, when in reality, no country is perfect. Every country is going to challenge you as a foreigner, as an immigrant, and you're going to always have your pros and your cons. But what I've learned is that you have to know how to balance the two, the yin and the yang. You got to know how to balance your dark and your light. And it's completely okay to be transparent and to share your dark, because I feel like in this living abroad and travel abroad community and industry, people shame you for sharing your dark moments. They romanticize this lifestyle so much that when you're actually the person that's transparent and when you actually share the real truth, people like to call you delusional. They say you're crazy, or oh, it's something wrong with you, something bad that you did. Da, 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 da. But it's like, this is what it's about. Transformation is never going to be easy. When you're being stretched, that's a challenge. Nobody wants to be stretched. That's just like when you go to the gym and you're working out and your muscles, you're tearing them. It's going to be painful. But then you feed and give yourself the proper nutrition to rebuild. Living abroad is about finding a country that aligns with who you are becoming. You're going to go through different chapters. You might start thinking that one country is aligned, and then you might realize, hey, what I'm working towards, this no longer aligns. And then you can move on to your next country, your next chapter. That is completely normal. It's fine. Do not think that that's weird, right? Right now, I'm in a very awkward space because I've been a homeowner all my adult life. Living in Thailand was my first time renting. And once I realized that Thailand was not where I wanted to be long term, I started thinking like, damn, I need to go ahead and find a country and find a home as soon as possible, because in my brain, I did not feel comfortable trying to figure it out with 3 children. And this is me being completely transparent about this shit. And this is what people do not want to tell you. It's one of those moments where it's like, okay, things is not as planned as I thought it was going to be when I planned from the beginning. And that's okay. It is natural for us to outgrow certain spaces, and that's not a bad thing. So if you too have experienced this, or if you might end up experiencing it and you're in the moment, right? Just know that you can outgrow spaces. Just like most of us that move abroad and leave America, we have absolutely most definitely outgrew America. And it does not mean failure. What it absolutely means, what it actually means, is you got the lesson that you needed to learn while living in that country. Whatever purpose was supposed to be served, you absolutely got the lesson. And that's why, like, when I think about leaving Thailand, I get kind of like emotional because I'm like, damn, Thailand stretched the fuck out of me. It made me grow in those moments where I didn't have a choice. I couldn't just get on a plane and run back home and say, forget. I had already started building a life. I had already purchased and paid for visas. I had already enrolled into school. I had already started a life. So I was forced to face myself wholeheartedly. No running, no hiding, just me versus me. Now, another thing that Thailand exposed to me that I did not expect, it made me realize that I actually want to submerge and go deeper into a culture that I genuinely want to learn more about. Now, the culture here in Thailand is beautiful, but I wanted to have this deepness where I wanted to dive deeper and know more. And I think that after I faced so many challenges here, I started to just kind of like disconnect from learning more than I already knew. And it showed me in that moment, like, okay, you should not stay and live in a place where you don't want to go deeper. So in that moment, I learned and I was like, okay, you need to go somewhere where you want to keep learning about the culture. No matter what you face, no matter what you go through, you naturally gravitate towards wanting to know more. And I felt like so many times my back was up against the wall and I faced so many challenges that I kind of went cold turkey on that. I disconnected. You want to be in a place that naturally pulls you deeper, no matter what you go through. You want to be somewhere that does this, where you're just like inspired no matter what to just learn more, know more, and remain in that environment and connect with people that can teach you and show you. And you're constantly watching and inspired to learn. So, those experiences also made me realize how important representation is as well. Keep in mind, I have 3 sons, 3 future melanated black men. And while I do believe that all skin folk ain't kinfolk, meaning that everyone that looks like us is not community, I did realize that with my children being black boys, they need examples. They need examples of what a black man should be and show up. They need mirrors. They need to see people who look like them, thriving, succeeding, enjoying life, creating the life of their dreams. This is what my children needs to have. Remember, I'm solely sharing my experience. So for the many people that's gonna comment and say, well, da 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 da, okay, I get it, I respect it. But I'm being transparent and vulnerable right now. And I'm exposing my thoughts to you guys and the realization that I came to living here. I want my melanated kings and my sons to have black examples in representation of what a black man should be like, how he should show up in society. And I want them to see what that looks like on a high scale, a successful black melanated man. And like I said, I absolutely love Thailand, but I'm just coming to terms that my journey here is ending. And Like I said, I'm not gonna go too deep because I don't want to get like emotional about it. But I do want to be transparent with my audience and my community and the people who genuinely love me, that want to see me and my children win. I want to let you know that this journey is not an easy journey. Sometimes you don't know if you're going or if you're coming. Sometimes you start to feel foreign to yourself, and it's not for the weak. And Thailand has stretched me. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna cry. Thailand has stretched me and really matured me because I've been out here by myself, just me and my children. So I could not run to my parents and my family and my friends and get answers. I had to face this shit by myself. But it showed me another version of myself, that I'm actually stronger than I've ever known. And, I've always known I was strong, but to be able to sell your home, knowing that from an American standard, home ownership is like a big deal, I was willing to sacrifice that and give it up to do something different that no one in my family or no one that I know personally and love has ever done. Nobody I know has ever sold their home and packed up and moved to another country with their children, sold their possessions. So the mindset that you have and that you have to build is on another level. And I think it's so important to share this because I battled with myself on whether I really wanted to share this. And I was like, why wouldn't you? You run a whole moving abroad media platform. Why wouldn't you? The people deserve to see this. The people deserve to know, the families, the mothers, all of the people who are inspired, who want to live outside of the USA. They deserve to know all aspects of this journey. And today was challenging for me because I made a post on Threads and I got attacked just because I said that, you know, there's a Thailand fatigue that I feel. I feel like it's so romanticized online that when people are transparent about their journeys, people get mad. They attack you. They say you're lying. They blame you. They say something wrong with you. They try to say everything in the book to belittle you. And then I had Thai people started attacking me and telling me that me and my people are not even wanted here. My best friend and my dad and some other important people told me, like, girl, you gotta have tough skin. You know how this social media shit get. Yeah, I do know, but that shit hurt. People telling you that you're not welcome in a country because you're being transparent about sharing your journey. That shit hurt. But at the same time, I'm brave enough to get on here and be transparent with y'all. I don't give a fuck who don't agree or who feels a way about my truth. I'm gonna speak my shit. I'm gonna speak my truth. And I'm doing this for the people like myself. When I first started my journey, I couldn't find a lot of transparency online. I couldn't find a lot of truths. It just seems like everybody romanticized and made it so perfect and like all your problems gonna go away. I'm not about to lie to y'all like that just to sell an ebook or sell a masterclass. Like I've told y'all before, my products sell regardless. I don't have to lie. My masterclasses sell out regardless. I don't have to lie. I believe in transparency. I believe in authenticity. I believe in the raw, uncut truths. And this is what the people need to see. Now, I did 2 separate videos on TikTok and on Instagram about my pros and my cons. But since this is a full form video, I'm going to go over them again so that for anybody that's interested or thinking about living here or just want to know what my pros and my cons are, it's going to all be in one place. Okay, so with my pros and my cons, I'm going to start with my pros, okay? So my pros of Thailand. Number 1 is going to be slow living. I learned what it feels like to stop rushing. That was the most important. The next one is going to be cost of living. I was able to stretch my money further and actually save because everything isn't so expensive like it is in America. Now, Thailand is not as cheap as people make it seem either. I want y'all to realize that. It depends on the way you like to live your life. Are you a minimalist or are you a luxury kind of person? Me personally, I am a 5-star luxury motherfucker. I'm a 5-star chick, okay? I like luxury experiences. I'm not a minimalist. Never have, never will be. So of course, my cost of living is might be a little bit higher than yours, but I want people to keep that in mind. Yes, it is more affordable, but I do not think that you should choose a country just because it's more affordable, because it causes inflation with the locals in other areas. So we don't want to, I just did an episode about this the other day, but gentrification. We don't want to go causing issues in other countries only because it's cheaper. Like, don't let that be the main reason that you're choosing Thailand because you think it's more affordable and cheaper. Ultimately, that can be a disrespect to the locals. Okay? The next is going to be transportation. I love the transportation service here. I absolutely love Grab. That is what I've been using for over a year. You can order a bike, you can order an SUV, you can order a car. It's super, super affordable. It normally costs me no more than $1, not even, to get back and forth to the gym. So I probably spend about $2. If I'm riding with my kids, maybe about $6 to $8 for an SUV. The transportation here is extremely convenient. And this is one of the things that I love the most. You download the Grab app. It's a green app. You download it. You put your address in and they will come pick you up and take you to where you need to go. This is a huge pro for living here in Thailand. The next is going to be safety. Now, I know that everyone has had different experiences. I've actually seen people who have been robbed, or I've seen women who said that they were almost, some other things that I'm not going to repeat. I've seen a lot of misfortunate situations that's happened. But me personally, just like I want people to be, open to my perspective and my experiences, I'm like that with other people's experiences too. Just because it did not happen to me does not mean that it don't exist, but I'm going to share my experience. Living here in Thailand, I felt extremely safe. Being a mom with 3 children and not having a masculine energy or a man, I feel absolutely safe. I feel safe. Especially in my neighborhood. Me and my kids go for walks at night. We do a lot of things where we're out and about. And I've never felt like, oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God, this is gonna happen. I've always felt super, super safe. So that's another thing on my pros list, is gonna be the safety. I've never had to second guess my safety or look over my shoulder. The next thing is going to be freedom for my children. This is one of the biggest blessings that Thailand gave us. My kids are not on a rigid schedule. They are homeschooled. I do believe in letting them be children and performing like children. So they have the freedom to go outside, to watch TV to whatever time they want, to play with their toys, to just experience life as a child that's not traditional. My children are not traditional. They never will be. I'm a very unconventional mom, and I prefer to raise my children this way because I do not want to raise them up in the same system and ways that I was raised. I want them to be more free spirited, and this is how I've set them up to win for the future. Next is going to be adventures. We've had experiences that we will remember forever here. Like, I love the fact that every day you wake up, there's something new that you can get into. And I mean, that just comes naturally with being an immigrant, a foreigner in a new place. It's always something to explore, something to learn. So I love the adventures. The next thing is going to be my home. This house literally became my sanctuary. Now, when I first got here, I was having issues with finding a house. You know what I'm saying? I almost got scammed twice with the house situation. But what I love, and my astrocartography, the relocation chart supports this, is the fact that in the end, Jupiter blessed me, baby. Because I got the best house. I got a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home for 1,100 USD dollars a month. That is a blessing. Brand new. Brand new. So it's like I had to go through the things that I went through in order to get a blessing in the end. And I'm so grateful for that. I have no complaints. Now we're going to go into the cons. So these are my cons, okay? So before starting, I want to say that these are not facts, okay? These are my experiences. So I'm not stating that this is everyone's experiences, and I'm not pushing this off on anybody. I'm giving you the real raw version of what I feel like my cons are since living here, and I feel like I've been here long enough to be able to share this and have a pretty good perspective. Okay? So that's an important thing that I want to say. So my first con is going to be colorism and discrimination. I've had many, many, many situations where I've been discriminated against because of my color. And one thing about the Asian culture and Thai culture, they are super honest, baby. They will tell you what they feel. They will call you black. They might call you other things. You might be discriminated against just because your skin darker. I want people to realize that although Thailand was not colonized, they still have the effect of colonization because whiter is a thing here. Having a whiter toned skin, pale, pale if you will, that's what it is to me. That's what it looked like. Pale to me. It's like a high social standard. So when you do have a darker skin, you can have situations that you come into where you might deal with colorism or discrimination because you're darker. And for all of the people that say, oh, no, that's not true, and try to justify it, it is true. Many people have went through it. If y'all don't believe me, go search it online. Go look for it. Many people have had experiences due to colorism. And I'm not saying that it's one of the worst things, but me personally, I don't like that shit. I did not enjoy being discriminated because of my skin tone. And I get that a lot of people always say, oh, well, it's worse in America. Okay, that's to y'all and y'all opinion. I didn't deal with racism like that in America. Okay? So when people make that comment, that's so stupid to me because that wasn't my experience. Even though black people are melanated people are discriminated against in America, that wasn't my personal experience. So leaving one environment to go to another environment where you're being profiled and discriminated against, that's not fun. Nobody's going to enjoy that. And I have a right to express that as my con, and I'm just sharing this because, when I talk about it publicly online, people get really offended. It's like, how can you get offended about somebody else's experience? I already got to worry about the Europeans going against me. Then sometimes it's even melanated people. Oh, I'm as dark as you. I didn't experience that. Okay, that's your fucking reality. Don't dismiss me. Don't minimize my experience because you didn't have that experience. Everybody should be allowed to respectfully share their true experiences, their raw truth. And, that's the only reason I got a little hype because, I have to always constantly not really like defend myself, but kind of like unpack that because I hate the responses I get when I talk about it. But then I get a lot of Asian people and Thai people that sometimes comments and supports and be like, yeah, that's true. I'm so sorry you went through that. Yes, we do deal with that in our culture. Okay, so the next thing is going to be foreigner pricing, right? It can become exhausting when every time you look up, you're being overcharged because they think that Americans is the richest motherfuckers in the world. Hello? They think that we got munyon, okay? And I'm not saying that we don't got munyon, baby, because a lot of us is paid. But with that being said, it's mentally exhausting when you being hit with outrageous prices that is out the woodwork. Like, listen, you'll be like, huh? You want me to pay 20,000 baht for that? So sometimes being overpriced constantly for being a foreigner is just annoying as hell. And I mean, a lot of countries do this, but it's something that I've definitely dealt with, and I feel like I get more respect when I speak the language because I don't know, I feel like Thai people have a very deep respect for you when you speak the language. So it's like the only way that my situation has changed and will change is always when I start speaking Thai. When I speak Thai, they switch up. They'll give me something that's more affordable. Next is gonna be immigration and bureaucracy. Okay, um, immigration don't give a fuck. My savages, my savages, my savages. Listen, when like the first time that I went to immigration and I had to extend my visa, they did not give a fuck. I had to do a whole introduction in Thai. And I had just started learning Thai. And I'm like, how can they expect that from me right away? Baby, I failed that test 6, 7 times. They did not care. They kept telling me to go back and study. I was in there for hours, 6, 7, 8 hours, retesting just to keep getting denied. And they would not give me the stamp. Baby, they don't play no games. They did not crack a smile. They weren't like, oh, we gonna give you a chance. Immigration don't play. So immigration was another thing for me. Like when I dealt with that situation, that was my first time really being hit heavy with a situation where I was like, man, I don't know if I want to stay here. This is too much. Like if I got to go through this every 90 days, I don't want to stay here. Like this is some bullshit. Like that's how I was feeling because I'm on a student visa. So, every 90 days you have to go re-extend your visa. And I just was like, nah, I don't want to keep dealing with this. Like it's just a lot that goes with immigration. And then you also got to remember that Thailand is a country that constantly changes and add and take away rules with their immigration laws. Like they add things and change things all the time depending on the climate of the world and what's going on of the world and everything that's in it. They make their decisions based off what's going on around them. So sometimes they might want to switch up some things with immigration, and then other moments they don't. But to me, that was a big red flag because being a mother with children and it being extremely expensive for me to do this anyway because I'm paying for 4 people, I didn't really feel comfortable with an immigration system that's constantly changing. That it is no security there. And that was a big con for me because something could change at any moment. Wonder if I got to get up and go back to the States. Flights for me, baby, they start at 4,000. Okay. My flights is not simple. My flights are very expensive because I have 3 children. So that was something that I wasn't too happy about. The next thing I have on my list is conflict avoidance. I personally feel like Asians and Thai natives do not know how to problem solve, and this is my opinion. We even see it in America, dealing with them in beauty supplies or in the nail salons. I feel like they do not take confrontation well and they're not good problem solvers. And I also feel like it's just their culture. I don't think they're taught to problem solve. I could be wrong, but I have had Thai friends that have told me that they're not taught that. Their culture is very different from obviously the American culture, even though shit, we ain't taught to problem solve either. But when they deal with confrontation, they kind of shy away from it, or they don't want to deal with your ass no more, or they no longer want to help you or talk to you at all because it's like they don't deal with it well. So that was another con for me is conflict avoidance. Problem solving can look very different culturally. So it's like you'll be trying to solve a problem with them and they might take it as if you're trying to create an issue. And then ultimately, this will make them not want to deal with you. And it's hard to get to the solution of a situation if both parties aren't trying to come to a collude. I mean, if both parties are not trying to come to a conclusion. So conflict avoidance to me is a con. I would say another thing sometimes is being the only nigga, being the only black person. Like at my gym that I go to, I'm the only black person most of the time. And I mean, living in Thailand made me be okay with that. But when I first got here, I had a big issue with that because I'm so used to going to Planet Fitness, LA Fitness in the States. And I know I shouldn't compare, but at the same time, that was new for me. So adapting to not seeing anybody that looked like me is very, to me, is a con. I did not feel comfortable with it. Now being here at this moment in time today on June 1st, it doesn't phase me anymore now because I've been doing it for over a year. But when I first got to Thailand, I remember how it used to make me feel. I used to feel very just like the eyeball out, like the stepchild. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is community, which is another con for me. Here in Chiang Mai, I feel like the communities is not as big and powerful as they could be. Now, I feel like Bangkok has a better community. Maybe Hue Hin, Hue Hin. Theirs is probably even better. Pattaya probably even better. But here in Chiang Mai, I feel like everybody does their own thing. So my kids not having other kids that they can play with on a regular. Now, don't get me wrong. I take them to the bounce place. They play with kids they just meet for the first time. We have met up with a few different foreigners, and my children have played with their kids. But at the same time, not having that community is another con for another con for me. And one of them reasons where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can stay here long term, because it's important to have friends and people that you can connect and build with and see and hang out with, right? Like-minded souls. That's a big thing. And we were not able to build that within this time period of living here. So that was another con for me that was like, maybe we need another location. Now, the next one, this one can probably be debated. There's probably plenty people who might want to argue with me in the comments, but the food is fucking mediocre to me. I have maybe like 2 to 3 Thai dishes that I really enjoy. Besides that, outside of that, the food here in Chiang Mai, not Bangkok. I've had great food in Bangkok. I never have any issues when I go to Bangkok. Even when I went to Pattaya, even Phuket food is bussing. But here in Chiang Mai, to me, in my opinion, the food is very mediocre. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm gonna keep it funky fresh. I cook a lot of home food, a lot of home cooked meals for that reason as well. Because I don't really, it's not really a lot of options. There's not really a lot of options. And the options that you do have, like I said, that's Americanized, mediocre. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that this is completely subjective. You do not have to agree. This is my video of me sharing my perspectives to the people who care and want to know what my experience is. To those of you who are interested, this is for you. I love y'all. I do not regret Thailand, not even a little bit. Thailand gave me experiences and growth that I would have never tapped into if I stayed in America. It gave me courage, confidence, and some of the best, beautiful memories that I created with my 3 kings. It also gave me proof that I can rebuild anywhere in the world. And for that, I'll always be grateful for Thailand. But gratitude and departure can definitely exist at the same time. You can love a place, you can appreciate a place, and you can thank a place while still knowing that your time is up. And that's okay, y'all. Like, this is completely okay and it is normal. Thailand was never like my final destination, but it has definitely been a part of my transformation and me rebuilding my life into what I actually truly desire it to be. So, with a month and some change left, I'm going to absolutely enjoy every moment here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time. I'm not taking it for granted. And I get super emotional because I'm like, damn, I really built a life here. Like, if I go to my other countries and I don't like it, y'all, I'm bringing my ass back. It's like, no. But for real, all jokes aside, wow. And when it is time to leave, when I walk these days down like fair time, baby, when it's time to leave, I'm leaving with so much gratitude and joy in my heart because I know that I made one of the best decisions by allowing Thailand to be my first country that I lived in abroad on my own with no family and no friends, baby. I did that shit. You hear me? I did that and I'm proud of myself because I proved to myself how powerful I already knew I was. It was just confirmation. If you are a part of my community, and if you've been watching me and you genuinely want to see me win, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment. Continue to stay connected to me on all platforms. And you'll see exactly where I end up. I'm so excited. Peace.